Hello and welcome to Torment, Tides of Numenera. So, we had a lovely talk with Matkina, and she offered to join our little group. And unfortunately, I think it's time to say goodbye to Rin. I'm sorry about that, Rin, but
What's going on?
we got into a pickle twice with you in the team. Not only you were not useful, but also, second time around, you almost died. I'm sorry, I wanna find you a home, but you just can't come with us. I don't know, I think we best part ways. Her eyes well up almost immediately, but she sets her chin and says, "So this is for getting it done? I'm not arguing about this anymore, just leave, kid. I'm not, just leave. Can we just find her?" She looks like she's about to say something, then she shuts her mouth in a tight grimace. A tear rolls down her cheek, but she slaps it away. Don't make me feel bad! I'm doing this for your own good. Like, I can give you shins. You can stay with the cultists that worship me. But perhaps I'm gonna pay you a room. I'm like, you didn't wanna go to where we could find your parents. But where you can find a new family for yourself. But you're obviously not ready for the kind of adventures I am going. And I'm not just saying that because you can't really carry your weight. But also because, and mainly because you're just dying. There's multiple reasons for it. I'm sorry, you're just not ready. Hopefully, and I actually sorted out the slavers, so they're not gonna capture you. I'm sorry. She turns and runs, the trail of wet spots on the ground behind her. You can hear her choking back sobs as she goes. Then she turns and disappears. Maybe we can find her again. Hopefully we can find her again.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, kid. Also, we need to rest. I'm totally spent. What is this? Father Teller, oddity. This small polished disc looks like a handheld mirror, but anyone who looks into it sees an image of their father or their species' equivalent looking back at them, hearing their every move. When you hold it, though, all you see is your own face. Interesting. But maybe these oddities can be sold.
All right.
What is this? Oh, let's just take
At
that.
last.
What is this? So, not sure where to go. The clay containers smell of cheap wine and spoiled food. A dirty resin sits atop a barrel of stagnant water. Matkina, let's talk. I wouldn't mind you joining our team. Also, I don't know how it works. What if companions die? I can die and Matkina can die, but I suppose others can die. Matkina is at her table, and as you enter, she idly throws a knife at a target near your head. Missed! She draws. Oh, you already talked a lot. Would you travel with me? She looks down at the table and sorts through a couple of sheets of paper. Nothing here that requires my immediate attention. I suppose, fine. Thank you, Matkina, let's go. Can we talk with her right now? Oh. She's very pale. Also, she's very speedy.
Out with it.
Alright, out. I wish I could do her voice, but like, I have more of a range with guys, of course. Out with what? I don't know. I just don't know how to do it. I can't. Every new cast-off gets strange with older cast-offs. If you're not feeling it now, you will. You look at me and you realize that we are all vessels for the same consciousness, and then you start wondering if we share anything else. She shrugs. We're all a bunch of arrogant preeners with delusions of greatness. That might be about it. Let's talk about your siblings, our siblings. Here it comes. She acts as if she's readying herself for a storm. I'm ready for the litany. All you newcomers, newborns, have it. Alright, go. What can you tell me about male Avast? Cast-offs needed a place to hide from the sorrow and work on a way to defeat it. The bloom eats people, so they couldn't hide there. The first and our worthless sire built Miel Avast so they could research in peace. The place became a beacon for our kind, and people started to put up homes inside the shields. After our sister and our father had their falling out and started the endless battle, the rest of them chose sides. For most people, it seems like this is some great existential struggle, but it's just a family squabble that got out of hand. Anyway, things got bad, the sorrow started making more appearances, and people needed a place to hide. So Mielavest became neutral ground. How have you avoided the sorrow? What can you tell me about it? I little know more than you. They might know more in Mielavest. What can I tell you for sure is that it hates us cast-offs. You're never sure when it will come. She shivers slightly. It comes for each of us, like we're calling to it. As for how I avoid the sorrow, well, you ever get the feeling that someone's looking at you? The sorrow's attention is like that, except that it feels like you've made an enemy. The creeping paranoia that it's coming for you, slow urgency mounts, and you start to feel like you need to lash out. But what I do? I run, I leave, and I don't come back. Try to throw off whatever scent it's picked up. And after a while, the pressure eases, and I can come back again. I don't try to go somewhere safe, like Mielavest. It'll find me eventually. It always finds us. The best we can do is postpone the inevitable. I wanted to talk about our siblings, the other cast-offs. You'd think people with all the gifts we have would be happier, but we are miserable misfits. Hundreds of us through time, and all bad people. But you should meet them. That's why we're going to Mielavest. I'll say this one. You were in the mirror. You saw what happened. I wanted to make a difference, and they pissed on my hopes. She frowns. The conflict between the first and the changing gods follows all our siblings, one way or another. I didn't want that. I wanted to make my own way. They didn't like the idea, and here I am, no worse for the lack of their company. We all use each other for our own ends, and someone always gets broken at the end of it. She gives you a dark look. Even us. Get that straight. You and me, we are both using each other right now. It'll profit us both, but someone's bound to get hurt. Spoken by a true loner who was lone for a very long time. I spent my life making sure it wouldn't be me. Not again. She's thinking that. Let's talk about the changing god. He's a greedy, manipulative, domineering fool. I've heard he's also quite charming, witty, and an absolute genius. I suppose he'd have to be, given how long he managed to keep ahead of the sorrow. But I've never met him, as far as I know. So the only judgment I have on the man is what I've heard from the others. I mean, our father inspired a cult. I assume you've met Casmine and Mimian. What's missing from their lives that they have to pin their hopes on us? Maybe they recognize our potential and hope to replicate it in themselves. Pathetic, aren't they? Casmine sees power and wants it to reflect on her. Mimian sees knowledge and hopes it will shine in him. I don't know. I suppose. Maybe they recognize our potential and hope to replicate it in themselves. We make such fine examples, she coughs, but she looks thoughtful. Actually, let me ask about something else. Her lip curls slightly, but she says nothing. What's your story? She gives you a slow, evaluating look. You were a part of my story. What else did you need to know? How did you become an assassin anyway? A series of regrettable mistakes. Maybe I'll tell you about them someday, but not now. How did Neg lose his eyes? He got himself crosswise with the wrong people, and he had an accident. An unforgivable accident, right. Did you ever see Pi reckon again? Once, in Miala West, Pi didn't even remember Colne Village. She didn't remember the people she sacrificed for her pointless, endless war. And she couldn't even understand why I care. I'd have her throat cut if Adiris hadn't held me back, upheld her precious peace. And then when Pi was gone and I called down, one of the others asked me what the problem was. He said the villagers would all have been dead in a few decades anyway. I would never think like that. But here I am, a couple centuries later, and people seem to die too fast and too young, and I can't let myself care. She scuffs the dirt. Immortality is a curse, especially when your companions in eternity are cast-offs. Right, maybe it would be better if the sorrow had us all. I suppose living forever just makes you think differently about people. Like imagine just living, well, you can't really imagine, but imagine just living for like thousands of years. Like, how would you feel about people who like live for a normal lifetime? Like relatively to your life, they're gone. They're gone faster than you had a dog, or I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to talk about what happened to you after I left Tash's body in the mirror. I don't know when you left. Tash wiped my memories and... Wait, no. No, he went off with the first militia. I came back to find him, and we had words. I left his burned corpse in a shallow grave and then... He shrugs eloquently. I assume the scavengers took it. After that, I traveled the world. I went back to Colne to remind myself what humanity does to the strange and different. I realized that I had no purpose. I went to Miala West to see what our brethren were doing. They hadn't changed at all. They told me to gather power. Our Creator made us many things, but most of all, He made us mad for strength in all its forms. I scorned their advice, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized the truth. When you're powerful, people can hurt you. Her voice drops even more. Or the ones you love. It might be that power paints a target on those you love. I thought about that, but at least when you have the strength, you can fight back. You won't be helpless. She sighs and then lets the familiar hardness creep back into her voice. So I came to Saga's Cliffs and started working. One of our brothers hired me and then he betrayed me. I thought he'd help me, but just like Pi, just like the first, just like Tash, he turned on me. That's when I learned that I can trust anyone. You see, that is just bad life experiences. Just because you got betrayed 10 times doesn't mean everybody betrays you. But I would understand why would you think that? So I struck back at him hard. It was then that I decided to make my own organization that lasted for about a decade. The endless politics inside the group, the recriminations, fighting against other gangs, the inevitable betrayals. I gave up on that and went solo. Eventually I went back to the Bloom and worked for the Memovira. The old one, I mean. Those were good years. I felt like I belonged. There was friction, to be sure, but we were a team. And then my favorite mortal got betrayed too. She crossed her arms. You wanna know why I was hiding before you found me? It's because I learned that I'm best on my own. If you don't have people, you can't be betrayed. There. You got your story. Let's not talk about it anymore. I have other questions, if you don't mind. How are you holding up? She shrugs. Do you actually care? I suppose we need to prove that we actually care. I don't know. You look like a good person who's seen some bad things, and now became kind of a bad person, but at its core, kind of a good person still. I don't know. I think we're fine. Nothing for now. Let's continue. So,
If you insist.
what are you all about? Clever Nano? No, it's me. Furtive Jack who murders. Ah. She really likes murdering with light weapons. Sonic Blade. Stealth. Also. Perception. Quick fingers. Alright. Alright, let's go. No, let's go. What is this? I don't know where things lead.
Let's go.
Let's go. What is this? The final words of countless men and women are scrawled upon the stone wall. Some apologize to loved ones, while others rage against injustice or a slight. A few left only their names.
I'm ready.
So this is where I can kill myself. What? I can't see what this is all about. To the underbelly, to caravanserai, and what is this? To killing myself?
Fine.
Just gotta see. Maybe I need to go back to caravanserai because it looks like it's leading up in a possibly different place. Oh. Oh, what the hell? What the hell is this place? Okay, click on it. From this height, you can see everything beyond the city of Sega's cliffs, bluffs, and chasms extend toward the horizon on either side for at least 50 kilometers. The sea stretches between them, perhaps 20 kilometers across at its widest. Then the waters widen and swallow the horizon. Nah, look down. Tiers of Sega's cliffs spread out to your right, a jumble of streets and buildings. To the left is the opening of a dark chasm. Tendrils of flesh cling to the edges like vines. The ocean lies almost 1,000 meters below you, dark and dangerous. Scavenging and fishing sloops crawl slowly across its surface. The rooftops of a few Sega's homes just from the cliff's surface, but mostly it's a clear drop to the sea. I don't know. I don't think I want to drop down to the sea. Is this the same thing? I don't want to jump off the ledge. A sheer cliff rises above the ledge. Its surface is rough and jagged. There are enough handholds that it looks climbable, but it wouldn't be easy. Do it! Not you. You suck at this. But Matkina is pretty good at this, right? 80. Okay, let's go for max. 100%. The cliff's face is deceptive. Holds that look like they'll crumble in your hands stay firm, while your solid-looking protrusions crumble like they were made of sand. With careful planning, though, you make it all the way to the top. What is this? A welcome blast of wind caresses your face at the cliff top. Your companions follow the path you blazed for them. Well, it was Matkina. The big ball.
I'm ready.
Most of the cliff top is obscured by a dome of energy. When you get close to it, the air hums and your hair stands on end. Try to see what's inside the dome. The air sizzles as you get closer, popping across your skin like invisible jumping beetles. When you are within arm's reach, a control interface appears in the air in front of you. It has a glowing circle with strange symbols floating at the edges and a vertical bar next to it. When you step back again, the interface disappears. Whatever energy forms this dome is completely opaque. You can't see anything through it. Oddly, though, you can see everything. You can see the shadows of the cliffs and birds on the other side. Ignore the interface and touch the dome of energy. Actually, we need to leave. I'm pretty sure that we need to leave.
Go.
And climb back. Let's not die. We need to go back. Like, I don't have the points. I don't have the points to solve the challenges with right now. We need to go and rest.
Yes.
Maybe I can head out that way. Maybe this is a good way to head out. Though weathered, the rungs of this ladder are firm and strong. At the top of the ladder you can see a closed hatch, and can also discern the levers that hold that hatch snugly closed. Extend the ladder. Come on, climb the ladder. We just gotta find it out. We have a lot of quests still. Theoretically we can possibly go with an airship. Oh, really? Whoa! Do we gonna rest in here? Of course. You said of course? Well, fine. We're gonna rest in here. Fine. I like a room for the night. Of course, it's below too. No. A second thought. Let's talk about something else. We can actually ask her about the comb. I found this hair comb in one of your rooms. Do you know who it belonged to? She shakes her head. I'm afraid not. We have many visitors here. It could have been any of them. Deception. Her denial is too quick and sharp, especially when her voice is normally so calm. You suspect this is the mark of a lie. How could Persea be so foolish as to leave that here? Persea? Persea? Okay. I like Room for the Night, actually. Isn't that the woman who was tasked to make peace with the sticker? Am I just remembering incorrectly? I'm not so good with names. Give her the money, okay. We lost 80 shins. Fine.
My thanks. We approve.
You open your eyes to see the hooded face of Folsom's messenger. Her eyes are bleary and slightly dazed. It seems possible that she hasn't slept since you last saw her. Another murder in the underbelly last night. Well, while you were sleeping. She runs her fingers through her greasy hair. It was an itinerant jack named Monte Cook. Folsom wants to know if you learned anything new. Wouldn't wait around. Where are you? Run! Run! Alright, that's good.
I'll handle it.
Alright, let's save. Well, we have a lot. So we can talk with Omadon, but we probably shouldn't. We need to investigate further. I wouldn't mind going back. Actually, I wouldn't mind going this way.
Yes.
I got so much stuff to do. Wait a minute, Sylph? You have it. The porcelain woman looks up as you approach, patiently waiting for you to speak. Eden, I know you're in there. Can you hear me? I am Sylph. He replies. The Aeon priest's mind seems to have faded into the construct's subconscious. Who knows if it will ever emerge again?
Yes.
Never mind that. Let's go. So more murders. Interesting. The guy got killed. Jack. I gotta say, having a glaive in the team, at least when it comes to fighting,
In this
is
world,
definitely
then.
not a bad thing.
Yes,
And
child.
this is the woman I was curious about. The loss of self woman. Looks like there's a potentially a bridge here. We talked with her once, but I'm not so sure. We had the sister quest before that. Her hands cradle her flushed temples like a crown, and her eyes are closed. Still, she manages a humorless smile as you approach. Good, you're back. Talk loud. It eases the pain. Oh, yeah. The angry sneer of her lips suddenly brings the image of the ghost from the fifth eye to your mind. That's what I suspected. You remind me of someone, a ghost in the Fifth Eye Tavern.
I'll remember that.
What? No, you're crazy! But the sudden widening of her eyes suggests that you've hit on something. She turns away. Stop talking about her. It makes her louder. I'm not her. I'm sorry, but I want to talk about the woman in your head. She growls under her breath, but does not respond. Scan fight. Fighting only hurts you. Let it go. Wow. What with these? I don't know what to make of that. Some kind of voices in your head that controls your thoughts and controls your action. Like, we found 3 guys that are controlled. Or at least 2 guys and 1 woman. I don't know. 2 guys and 1 woman who are controlled to be like brave fighters. And these are just taken over as puppets. They're driven crazy. Except the captain of the guard. I'm sorry, but I want to hear about the woman in your head. She growls under her breath, but does not respond. Fighting only hurts you. Let it go. I need to know. It doesn't do anything. Looks like it doesn't do anything. Well, we know about her. But we don't know what to do about her.
Action!
Dendrohul Cultist. I'm pretty sure that we also have a place to check out around here. Apparently near the...
If you want a job done right.
Apparently near the... Near this thing.
Yes.
Underbelly. Oh, look, check out that one.
One moment, and it's done.
Peering over the edge of the cliff, you see the ruins of a house and streaks of bloody fingers scrabbling at the rock. Whoever lived here fell into the distant sea with their home. It's possible, however, that they left some of their valuables behind, and they are certainly not coming back for them. Search the rubble. In a little stone cistern on the broken roof, you find a long string of strange-looking beads. You poke at them and step away from the ledge. Mother Thames? This long string of beads belonged to a midwife in Cliff's Edge. Each bead on the string is distinct and unique, representing one of the babies she delivered over the course of her long career. Touching one of the beads will put you into very brief mental contact with whoever that bead represents. Use item? Damn. Continue.
Allow me.
What about this one?
Here comes the boredom slayer.
Sledge. Doesn't the airship captain know about his ship? I mean, like, okay, this ship is in a poor spot,
You want it done right.
but it's still better than nothing. He can just try to rebuild it. Of course. Well, looks like we can't really do anything here.
Yes.
Let's talk in the parlor. So, Sorrow Spray, Zalfi the sculptor, Circus Miner. So we need to investigate a house. A leader of the Dendroholder informed me that the Sorrow's victim lived in the cliff's edge. His house was near the Chirurgical parlor. Perhaps a clue to his identity can be found there. Oh, okay. Let's talk. You're back, he says, spreading his arms as if to hug you. Can I interest you in any of my vastly overpriced items and services? Remind me how you... What? Maybe the chirurgical drone? Looks like not so much. It's a good question.
I'm ready.
Maybe this is it.
I'm always ready.
The salty air only partially mutes the cloud of putrid sweetness clinging to this jumble of fallen wood, stone and iron. Until recently this was someone's home, but the unstable ground must have caused it to collapse. Search the rubble for clues. You shift aside the broken pieces of furniture and small pieces of rubble, but you find nothing of value. After a short while you realize that what has happened. Someone has already picked through the ruins and taken the more accessible valuables. You stand back, concentrating. Nothing about the pile of stone is familiar, but the view from where the door once stood, a boundless horizon falling into the sea, is...
I'll remember that.
This appears to be the house of where the castle once lived, but either he left no clues of his identity or they were taken by the scavengers. It might be helpful to ask around the area, see if anyone spotted someone looting this house. Search the rubble for anything else of interest. You rummage through the dusty piles of stone and wood, looking for anything interesting, but no. The ruins appear to have been picked clean. Anamnesis, study the horizon. Oh, that's good. Do it, 100%. You're one smart guy. Fingers of wind rake at your face. You squint into the sunlight, trying to remember. You've stood here before. You know you have, letting your thoughts untangle. The skyline tilts, and you stagger as the memory engulfs you. You grip the edge of the crude banister, grimacing at the sea. The calm of the sea no longer touches you as it once did, nor you realize does this body. You smile at your own impatience. Your restlessness must rival the ocean itself.
Updated my journal.
A gust of salty air bears the memory away in ribbons, leaving your mind aching and dry atop the ruins of the house. There is little doubt now, the changing god and the cast-off killed by the sorrow once lived here. Interesting. Dig through the pile to find the source of the stench. Not me. Maybe you. Let's go with maximums, 95. Maybe we can make her dig it. Ah, it's not gonna be good. You dig it. The smell intensifies as you heave aside a slab of ceiling. A swarm of startled insects spin away into the sky, revealing the body of a young woman, torn and crushed. An invisible hand risps the air from your chest and the strength from your legs. You fall, feeling a presence close around you, a heat on your back. Who's there? Shut your eyes? You push the blood-matted hair out of her face with trembling fingertips and close her eyes. The heat builds against your back like a bonfire. Suddenly a cool hand covers your burning eyes. A smooth arm folds over your stomach.
I'll remember that.
And just like that, the heat is gone. You whirl around, but no one is here. Is there? But you sense something has changed in the labyrinth. Oh. Okay. So we definitely made some progress here.
If you want a job done right.
Okay. So we can head down into the underbelly. Make some progress there. New murder. A lot to do. Sorrow spray. Find a way to communicate with the shadowy reflection that has appeared in the labyrinth. So we have many ways to do it. We can go down to the mirror. We can also make the innkeeper meditate. Healers infestation. Well, we can go to Amadon with the evidence, but that's not our only option. We also need to head into the how's it called? Order of Truth. Need to question the cultist again.
Alright.
We have a lot to do. Of course, these quests can be completed earlier, but I just like to explore the options. I could have just given the guy the comb and said like, "Yeah, you can have it," but that's not what I wanted to do. Who knows?
You want it done right.
I do want it done right. And also, she's not here. Am I right about that woman? I'm pretty sure that she was here, and it is she who I needed to talk to. But let's just talk to the Dendro Hooer. They are one sneaky buggers. And they're creepy as heck.
Alright.
They were our wrongs. Okay. Imbritu? I know what's up. A restless corpse. Imbritu beams at you, clasping his skeletal hands together like a tangle of twigs. Such a curiosity you are. I have more questions about the trouble going on in the underbelly. Oh dear, he says. I was hoping it was all over by now. Tell me about the children of the Endless Gate. A smile falls from Imbitu's face. I hope you are not asking for the reason I think you are, he says. They began as a branch of the Dendro Hooer that was more impatient in their appetites. His lip twitches like the memory of a snarl. Years ago, my sister and brothers and I chased them from the city and erased their names from every record, or thought we had. Perhaps, he says, turning troubled eyes on his acolytes. No, this is the first time I've spoken of the Endless Gate in years. They cannot possibly be involved. He takes a deep breath and smiles at you again. It's like watching a wrinkled sun emerging from the clouds. Could their twisted beliefs have somehow infected one of them? Impossible. I have evidence that the Dendro who are involved. Can I speak with your acolytes?
Making a note.
Oh my, he says. I suppose you have my permission. Do be gentle with them. He flashes his teeth at you. If they deserve it, of course. Do you think any of the Dendro who could be capable of murder? Certainly not, he declares, then pauses. Well, they do come and go as they please, hunting for bodies left in the gutters like broken leaves. He smiles, mistily up at the air, as though reminded of his younger years. The Devourer of Wrongs was standing vigil these last few days, but any of the others could be responsible, I suppose. He runs his eyes across them, humming a fretful little memory. Oh dear, he says. They are really a suspicious lot, are they? Malt enjoys hurting people. Kiatava tells her little lies, and Gazay, well, she's quite unique. He seems as pleased at this as though he accomplished her uniqueness himself. All in all, They are a horrifying bunch, aren't they? I really hadn't noticed before. When were... Where were you when Folsom's protege was killed? Ah, he said excited. I have quite an amazing alibi. Is that how you say it? Alibi? He draws himself up and sets his jaw sternly like a caricature of justice itself. I was with Folsom the entire night. He can tell you as much. I may not have been entirely legal what we did, but it was a murder.
Updated my journal.
He leans in close to whisper in your ear. I promise, Folsom, I would tell anyone how he helps with things. You need to ask him if you want to know more. He winks and stands back. So as you see, I am beyond suspicion. For one thing, the priest was already dead. I'm done talking about my investigation for now. So soon? He says, folding his head. Very well. No. I changed my mind. Go ahead and kill me and eat my flesh. Pass. Mallets? Let's talk. What you want, showmeat? He says, leering. Imbidu gave me permission to ask you about the murders. Is that alright? He says, glancing at Imbidu, the leader of the Dendro Horde gives him a small nod. Yeah, alright. Ask your questions for all the good it will do. Did you know Vidlu? Yeah, I knew him. Glad to hear he's dead. He was smart and knew it. Always looking down on the rest of us. Always ordering people around with Folsom looking on, smiling. Snorts. But if you weren't thinking I chopped him, I didn't. I was getting drunk in a corner of the manufactory. He grins nastily. Wondering what all the screaming was about. Damn, uppity Lacknibur. I should have been Folsom's man, not him. Should have been... Okay.
Making a note.
You know what? Who you should ask? He says, leaning in. Kiatava. I saw her hunched over some corpse in an alley, all by herself. Doesn't matter what the meat is. People who eat on their own always got something to hide. He nods at the other cultist. And Gzai is one to watch too. She ain't like you or me. She's a mutant, and not one of the nicer ones. And everyone eats on their own. Everyone's got something to hide. Okay. I want to talk to you about your eating habits. Is that right? He says, scratching one of his sharpened teeth. Not much of mystery there. I eat people. I like it. He shrugs. If that doesn't answer your question, go on and ask. How many courses have you eaten? Can't give you the exact number. You eat what's given to you here, but at least one time, at midnight, I was out on my own and found a corpse lying beneath a sack of rusty metal. Someone just left him there to rot. He shakes his head. Maybe I'll go for another walk tonight, he muses. Can't help wondering what else I'll find. Eat on the things. Everyone eats on their own. That ain't no secret. Okay. Doesn't eating human flesh bother you? Bother? No. Bother ain't the right word. He rubs the back of his neck. You think you're gonna mind the taste, but you don't. The part I don't like is the memories from the person you eat end up in your head, and you can't make them shut up. The four of us ate this Skallark. Not a fancy one, but one with old robes. Kia Tava was talking about some words she kept hearing after. Skulls. I didn't get a word. I saw a memory of his, when I was picking him out of my teeth. He was lying in bed, dying maybe, waiting for his son to come see him. His eyes kept closing, and his son never came. Shakes his head like a beast of trying to dislodge a biting insect. Not that I saw, anyway, and that's from just one meal. They get in my head, make me forget Who's me? Imbitu says it gets easier, but why do you eat corpses if it troubles you so much? I'm gonna turn all of them vegetarian. It doesn't trouble me, he growls, but his voice is shaking. It ain't just easy. It just ain't easy. It'll get better. Look at Imbitu. He's been doing this a long time. Glance at Imbitu, the elderly head of the Dendro Hur waves and gives you a huge, rotten grin. Nice. Let's talk about something else. Have you ever heard of something called the Endless Gate? Yeah, I bet I do. That's what he said a bit earlier. No. Strange name though. If it don't end, it ain't much of a gate, is it? It's more of a hallway. You sure don't know anything about the Endless Gate? No. I told you. Tell me what you think about the other members of your family. Family? Good one. I trust my brother over this bunch, and he tried to cut my throat when I was 5. He clucks his tongue. Go on and ask your questions. What's your opinions on Imbitu? He's alright. Got half the city scared of him, and the other half bringing him meat. Not bad for an old man who smiles at everyone and never raises his voice. I hope to be half that feared when I'm done. More than half. What do you think of Gazay? Gazay is a monster, he says, shaking his head. Less than human and more than beast. I've seen her take a corpse's face off with a swipe of those claws and tuck it into her mouth like a pan bread. Didn't stop until the body was gone, down to the last drop of blood. He bites his upper lip, drawing ribbons of blood. Talk to Gazay if you want. Figure her out. Me, I keep my distance. How do you feel about Kiatava? He opens his mouth to respond, closes it, thinking, something wrong with her. He says finally, and I ain't stupid. I know how that sounds coming from me. Just something broken in her, and it always getting worse. Some other questions? Can you tell me more about the other Dendra? I finished asking about the murderer. No, I'm just farewell. I'm not finished asking about the murderer.
Consider it done.
Kiatava, I heard you're kinda weird. He doesn't spare words on you this time. She merely nods, her very gaze cataloging the position of everyone in the room. Imbitu says I can ask you about the murderers in the underbelly. Yeah? She says, looking over at the old man. He nods. Good. I have to say, I'm not surprised the murderer trail led you here. What do you want to know? Matt says he caught you eating a corpse on your own. Let's not open with that. Do you have any idea who the murderer is?
I'll remember that.
No, she says, resting her hand on her hips. But I've seen what they left behind of Folsom's boy. A mess. Blood on the walks and floor, no body. She flicks a strand of hair out of her eyes. That's the kind of death you see when someone's sending a warning or holding a grudge. I saw it all at the time before I came here. The circle is not a warning, it's a sign. Okay. Why do you think someone killed Folsom's protege? Why? He says with something approaching a grin. Why? This is someone Folsom cared about. He has a lot of enemies. Why do you think? Do you know anything about the Endless Gate? No. Never heard of him. Are you sure you have never heard of the Children of the Endless Gate before? She shakes her head, looking confused. I want to know your opinions on the other Dendrahur. When you're investigating and questioning someone, you first want her to say stuff, or him or her to say stuff. Then use your facts against them, once they already made a statement. Ha! Alright, don't expect me to hold back. What's your opinions on Imbitu? He's lived too long. Maybe the Dendro who were something once, but he's just looking for his next meal now. And the rest of them are following his example. That's not too bad. Like, what's the purpose of your life? It don't seem like you're doing a lot. How do you feel about Malette? He likes hurting people. More than that, he's proud of it. She runs an angry hand through her hair and lowers her voice. I'm not sure, but I think he's been killing rivals from his old life and eating them. I know he killed. He probably ate too. Why wouldn't he? Okay. What do you think of Gazay? She used to be worse than she is. If you haven't talked to her yet, you'll see what I mean. She glanced at the mutant uneasily. Maybe all those corpses she's eating on her own are bringing Sagus into her head. Civilizing her, maybe. She shakes her head. But that just means she's a predator who knows the mind of her prey. She's a monster. Certainly she's a murderer. She's murdered to eat. Why wouldn't she? Okay. I have some other questions. Mallet says he caught you eating a corpse on your own. Yeah, maybe Mallet should mind his business, she says, shooting an angry look at the hulking cultist. Sure, it's true. I don't like being down here more than I have to, alright? I barely even sleep anymore. Keep getting the feeling that they're waiting for me to die. Wondering what I taste like.
Updated my journal.
Not too long ago, I found the corpse in an alley near Circus Minor. I didn't see why I should share it with this slot. She drags her fingers through her hair. That's it. No secret, no scandal. And since Mallet thinks he can share my hunting with strangers, maybe you should ask him how many corpses he's found on his own, or if they were actually dead when he found them. Okay. Farewell. So,
Happy to help.
what about this Devourer Wrongs? Is he just fine? Imbitu says I can ask you about the murders in the underbelly. Good. It rumbles at once, as though it had been waiting for the news. I would have had the murders caught, and caught quickly. It angers me that all of this transpired while I was attending to rest. Despite the statement, the creature's voice is as placid as subterranean pound. Okay. I assume you are here because one of the Dendo who is suspected of being the murderer? I'll tell you what I know. I've known Imbitu through many minds. He's subtle, clever, and untrustworthy. He's also no murderer. It casually clenches a gloved fist. That leaves the other three. They're all capable of the crime. Mallet is ambitious and desires revenge. Kiatava snakes, plots, and keeps secrets. Gazay is not human and does not define murder as we do. Creature's fist falls to its side once more. Talk to them. Search for holes in their stories. These will lead you to the truth. Which of the Dendro Who do you think is responsible for the murders in the underbelly? Mallet, Gazay, or Kiatava could be the murderer. Question them and look for falsehoods. These will lead you to the truth. Oh, farewell. Thanks for that. So, Gazay? Welcome back, Tenderling. She croons as if singing to a tasty child. Ugh. You don't want to tell me about the Dendro Whore? Want? We do not speak of want, Tenderling. We do not deserve to tell you. He smiles in between his voice. Imbitu says I can ask you about the murders in the underbelly. Her small eyes glow with humor, but flicker first to the leader of the Dendro Whore. He nods. Ask your question, Tenderling, he says, stroking the back of her hand with her claws. Even this gentle motion draws blood. Murder? How can it be murder with no body? What do you know about the murders? Oh, Tenderling, She chuckles, delighted. You use the wrong word over and over. There's no murder if there is no body. This was... And she uses a word you do not recognize, a gruesome combination of clutching teeth and growling consonants. And so, nothing was lost.
I'll remember that.
We do not know who is responsible, she says, scratching her cheek, blood spills unheeded from the wound. Yatava and Mallet sneak about during the night. They swallow their secrets. They are Dendrahur to serve their power and hunger, not to honor the dead. Not for... He uses the word again, snapping her jagged teeth with great satisfaction. They are not capable of such kindness. Why is he so interested in a soul that was not lost? Very strange. Okay, you're kind of weird. What is the word you use to describe the murder? That clutching, growling word. Word? She says, blinking. Oh yes, your language does not have the word, so we use our own. She clicks her teeth together thoughtfully, then answers, we know of murder, of course. To leave a body to rot is to say that the soul inside is not worth keeping. This we punish. This decision is not for anyone to make. The word as we speak of it is the opposite. On my world, when one of us dies or is killed, we eat their flesh and take their souls into our body. We feel the light and of them reach our corners. She raises a claw, smiling. They becomes we. You understand? I see. You only think it's a murder if the murderer doesn't eat the entire body? Yes, she says, clapping her hands together with delight. You understand? I understand that. I understand your definition. This murder is no murder. She pronounces the word with obvious scorn. We know this. We know the details. A skinned hand in blood, circles on the wall. She says, making a chicken noise. Tenderling play with their food. Perhaps your murderer is young. They do not know. They should finish the hands. Strip the memories of hand work from the tendons. Crunch the bones, slurp the blood from the floor. She shakes her head fondly. Tenderlings? You're creepy! Perhaps this tenderling thinks what I do is murder. He's wrong. He is wrong. So... perhaps you're talking about Mallet? You don't think Kiatava or Mallet killed any of the victims? You never said that, she says, playfully biting her tongue. They kill, but they do not honor. They do not understand who they are. So she thinks it was not a murder. Okay, let's just go after Mallet. What you want, shoemate? He says, leering. I have more questions about the murders. Who do you suspect again? Can you tell me about the little Dendra? Damn. Can I just talk to Imbitu? Man, I need some kind of... restless corpse. Imbitu beams at you, clasping his skeletal hands together like a tangle of twigs. Such a curiosity you are. I have more questions about... no. I'm always disturbed by the second conversation option. I changed my mind. Go ahead and kill me and eat my flesh. Pass. I have more questions about the trouble going on in the underbelly. Oh dear. I was hoping it was all over by now. I've spoken to all of you. I think I know who the murderer is. Ah, he says, looking uncomfortable. Good. Heard this decades ago, I would handle the investigation myself, but I am perhaps a little past my prime. He drops his voice to a whisper. His breath is sour and the wild light dances in the deep places of his eyes. Bring your suspicions to Folsom. He will take the correct actions. He always does. Okay, farewell. So you want Folsom to serve justice in this case? Fine, farewell.
Yes. Now.
Tiatawa, do we have new conversation options? I don't know, I have more questions. Are you sure you never heard? I don't know. Say, can we talk with you again? I have more questions actually. What is the word you use to describe murder again? Do you know about a group called the Children of the Endless Gate? We know it. We know it, she says, frowning, but we are not sure how. She drums her claws against her chin, drawing pinpricks of blood. Yes, bloody circles left in the sides of junkyard dwellings outside the bloom. His shadows bewear the edges, endless gates. Little woman, the people of the community say, it still makes us laugh. Such sweetness. I'm done asking about the murders. She knows about it. Gazay knows about it. I don't know, we don't have enough information. Where did you see the bloody circles again? In the junkyard outside the bloom? But not yesterday, not last year. A time ago, then the circles appeared. Junkyard outside the bloom? So we might need to go to the junkyard. That's a good thing too. Okay, so we got some clue. Again. Perhaps we can falsely accuse someone, but we need to investigate further to actually have the right person. Alright. And I believe this is a good time to take a break. So hope you guys had fun. Tell me if you did and see you around. And have a good one, guys.